Good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, I think post-lunch, most of you are active in energy. I think we're gonna just take 10, 15 minutes in this fireside, and I have Bhavna. Uh, we want to talk about AI co-pilots. From computer era to internet era to data era and to co-pilot era. I'm very sure most of uh, it's not just a buzzword right now. It's the reality. It's happening. So our conversation is going to be focused around skill assessments. And so Bhavna, it's for our audience. What real applications of skill assessment do you see in assessing skills better and, in fact, enhancing those skills?
Yeah. And thanks, Abhishek. And we've actually had a chance to speak backstage and hear Abhishek's story. And if you haven't met him, take some time to speak. It's a very interesting story of how he set up VCP. But Abhishek, on your question more so, before I really answer your question, I want to start with a very old quote from Albert Einstein, which says, "Everyone's a genius. If we judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will forever think that it is stupid." And that's where I think the co-pilot run skill assessment will remove the biases that we are looking at. And in terms of applications, I would say we are moving away from saying that box everyone into the same lens and say each one of you needs to go through the same assessment, either for a job or for a new role or just to continue to grow in your organization. It has to be personalized, tailored to the kind of strengths that I bring to the table. That is definitely going to be the first one, and it will change the game. We've done enough of saying one page, one size fits all. It doesn't. And we are not playing on people's strengths by just using the same assessment for everyone. Then, of course, instant feedback. We all like instant gratification, so I think getting instant feedback is definitely something that a co-pilot-driven skill assessment will continue to really bring. Our outcomes will be very adaptive. Our curriculums that we are going to build, or even for that reason, the job roles that we are going to define can be very adaptive. Why always think of a role to say, oh, here is a role and I need to fit this person into the role? Why don't we rather think it the other way around? Maybe define a role for the person, the strengths that person brings to the table, and see if it still works for your organization. So we have to move away from boxing people. It's not going to work anymore. And then, of course, the impact has to be continuous. The learning has to be continuous, which also will help us identify potential leaders, which is data-driven. Not just saying, oh, you know what, this guy is good, so I must promote them. No, did the data tell you that the person is good and fit for the next level or to do something different? And I kind of summarize this in a PAC framework that Abhishek and I were talking yesterday. So really, your assessments will be more predictive, and you will have adaptive curriculums, and the impact will be very continuous. So personalized, adaptive, and continuous impact is how co-pilots will change the world, and we'll stop boxing people into things.
Yeah, great perspective, Bhavna. So I think, as you rightly said, the AI's ability to personalize and customize to the human factors and becoming more human-friendly is something that I also believe that skill assessment can bring an advantage for talent leaders.
So Abhishek, since you've been working on ECP, what do you think how the whole co-pilot skill-driven assessment will impact different industries? And maybe if you can give a few examples of what does it mean? So let's say a healthcare industry or a different industry, or what it means, because some of us may be very limited to services, but what other examples have you seen in assessments driven by co-pilots?
So I would like to take a fundamental viewpoint here. Let's accept that AI is here to solve the harder problems, which we couldn't solve, which human computations really couldn't solve. So AI is here to solve almost all the harder problems and the hardest problems that currently exist in front of us. If you look at skill assessment industry, creative industry, it is extremely hard to assess people's skills in creative industry. How people design, how people draw, how people come up with new ideas, creative ideas. It's really, really challenging right now. because of AI's ability to compute at a much faster rate, to compute across all the human data points created in the history, it would be possible for AI to give you some feedback, make you more faster. It's not about, removing human factor from the evaluation, but it's just gonna be a co-pilot to help you do that. In manufacturing, there are devices, simulations used, right? It's very difficult today to actually build a automated skill assessment in manufacturing industry. There's no easy way. AI is gonna put it forward and AI is gonna make it possible. It will be possible for you to actually assess candidates on actual business simulations. In technology industry, we all know we do coding assessments. Sometime back, the project-based assessment has taken a entry, and then what's happening is you can actually assess a developer if he's able to build a prototype right now or not. In healthcare, you can assess plethora of use cases using skill assessment today. How people diagnose, the precision of diagnosis, etc. In teaching, for example, you see. AI can help you assess how good a teacher is. Does he know the basics of teaching? Is able to, or she's able to teach better. An AI co-pilot can actually help you take better decisions. In fact, not just rule out people, but also assist people in becoming better. And that's what skill assessment in future is gonna do for you. So across industry, I see a very positive impact of skill assessments. Yeah, I think that's my take on this, Bhavna.
Oh, and that's awesome. Since you've experienced across industries, definitely, it's a very rich experience for how you're speaking about some of these industries and the impact that it'll have.
So I have a question for you, just trying to connect the dots. How do you see AI facilitating in future in assessing human skills better? Like, what would businesses try to do to assess human skills?
First off, I think we will move away from the traditional way of assessing, and it's across the landscape, starting from schools to corporates to colleges. It has to change. We have to move away from how traditional testing looks like to strengths-based or performance-based assessments. That's going to be number one. Then there is going to be a lot of focus on really behavioral, social, emotional competencies, and that comes as a surprise to a lot of us when we are speaking about AI and machine learning. But you must also see there is a research that ETHRHCE released, I believe, last week, where they say 3 skills, which is problem solving, adaptability, and critical thinking, are the 3 skills which are still going to be very critical and are very scarce. So it is still going to be very important and more important as machine learning takes over, that we have the human in the loop who brings all these 3 to the table. So that's going to be a big one. And you spoke about the whole immersive experiences. We will move away from giving people ideal case scenarios to saying, here is a real situation where you will be in when you come to the industry, putting them through mocks and simulations to say, what would you do if you were in a situation like that, which is a difficult situation to solve perhaps. So moving away from ideal case scenarios to realistic situations. And then, of course, build data-driven decisions is going to be very critical. And from saying, I think, to I affirm because there is data behind it, is going to become the way of doing things. We've done a lot of, I think this is suited, or I think that makes sense. We will move away and say, I have data to say why I'm talking something. So I believe that's the way forward.
More real.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's your take on that?
Yeah. So my take on the future, how businesses would actually look forward to assessing human skills. There are many changes that I foresee, but the top picks that I have, and my favorite. Businesses today know that it's not about solving problems. It's about understanding problems well. Businesses would try to, craft their assessments in a way that they can assess how well, candidates understand a problem. And this is happening because businesses are, business expectation in industries, across industries, is exceeding. People want to, hire talent who can understand their business problem and give them a competitive edge. That's the first, transition I see businesses will do, and currently it's still in traditional mode. A lot of companies still assess people on aptitude, those academia skills. The gap between assessments crafted on academia versus assessments being crafted on business and real world, it's going to decrease, and then that's what is the first. The second, my take is that humans are complex. There are a lot of fluid skills that humans have, and AI is going to make it better. Humans are complex, cognitive skills, and there are like millions of human factors that makes them a better talent. So AI is going to make assessment of those easier, and humans and businesses will try to assess beyond hard skills. They will try to assess those fluid skills, motivation, attitude, their life skills that they're working on, etc. So I'd see a universe of candidate skills getting drawn, and that would be like Gen Zs do n number of activities and their personas and portfolios, and they're all interrelated, and they can actually contribute in a positive business skill. So I can see like AI is trying to build a relation between all those skills and make it more business relevant. So that's all the fluid skills of candidates would be, it'll be possible for you to assess. And the third take is that businesses also want to give a better candidate experience. We keep hearing that candidates don't want to take assessment. So my take is that businesses today understand that when their assessments reflect their business, candidates don't just see it as a test. They see it as a future at the company. So when your assessments reflect your business problems, the actual thing that you're solving, candidates don't just see that as a test. They see it as a future at this company. This is what I'm going to do at this company. This is what I'm going to solve at this company. So it's very important for businesses, and businesses will look forward to actually crafting and designing skill assessments from that perspective. So that's my take on the future.
Make a very pertinent point. It's a win-win, for the business and for the prospect candidate who's wanting to join them, to see this is what the world will look like. Either take it or leave it, but see it from the real lens than versus showing them something which is not their real
Correct.
business problem. So yeah, very important point.
We've run out of time. I think we made it on time.